Okay, let's talk about the dreaded check engine light. You know the one, that little orange symbol that just glows. Your heart sinks, right? And you start thinking about huge garage bills and super complicated repairs. But what if I told you that a lot of the time you can figure out what's wrong yourself for less than the cost of a couple of pizzas? Yeah, let's get into it. So if you're looking at that light on your dashboard right now, wondering what on earth your car is trying to tell you, then you are in the right place. Because that little light, it isn't an invoice, it's a message. And today, we're going to learn how to read it. And here's the good news. You probably don't need a giant toolkit or an engineering degree. Actually, one of the most common reasons that light comes on can be diagnosed and often fixed with just one simple, ridiculously cheap tool. That's it. $30. This is basically the key to unlocking your car's brain. For about what you'd spend on a night at the movies, you can get your hands on the same kind of diagnostic power that a pro mechanic starts with. So, this secret weapon we're talking about, it's a simple OBD2 scan tool. It's this little gadget that you plug into a port right under your dashboard. And just like that, it translates your car's secret codes and warnings into plain English. It's like having a direct line to your car's computer. But we're not just looking for simple error codes today. No, the real magic, the pro-level stuff, happens when you tap into what's called live data, or data stream. This lets you see exactly what your car's sensors are seeing right now in real time. And that's the key to everything. And the main sensor we're going to spy on is the mass airflow sensor, or MAF for short. The best way to think about it is like this. It's the part that tells the engine how deeply it's breathing. Just like your body needs to know how much air you're taking in, your engine's computer needs to know how much air is flowing in so it can mix in the perfect amount of fuel. If that breathing measurement is off, well, the engine runs rough and boom, the check engine light comes on. So how do we actually check it? It's super simple, 4 steps. First, you'll want to get the engine warmed up to its normal operating temperature. That just makes sure the readings are accurate. Then, plug in your OBD2 tool. Go ahead and start the car, and on your tool, find the menu for live data. Once you're in there, you'll see a big list of stuff. You're looking for one specific thing, MAF, and it'll be measured in grams per second, or G/S. All right, once you've found that MAF reading on your screen, you're ready to play detective. We're going to run a really simple 2-step test that's going to give us our first big clues about whether your sensor is healthy or not. So for step 1, with the car just sitting there in park, idling, just look at the number. See what it says. That's it. For step 2, you're going to gently press the gas to raise the engine's RPM. So let's say your car idles at about 800 RPM. You'll want to bring it up smoothly to around 1600 RPM. And as you do that, you're watching that grams per second number to see how it reacts. So what should you be looking for? Well, a healthy sensor at idle is usually going to sit somewhere between 2 and 6 grams per second. It kind of depends on your engine size. But if you see a 0 or a really high number, like 10 or more, or if it's just jumping all over the place, that's a huge red flag. Then when you press the gas, that number should climb nice and smoothly. If it stutters or gets stuck or just doesn't move, that tells you the sensor isn't keeping up with what the engine is doing. Okay, so you've done the basic test, but maybe the numbers are just a little bit off and you're not totally sure. How can you know for certain if it's the sensor or something else? Well, now we get to the pro-level check. This is the trick that separates a bad sensor from another really common problem. So back in your live data menu, we're going to find 2 more things, short-term and long-term fuel trims. Okay, think of fuel trims like this. Your car's computer is like a chef who's constantly tasting the soup. It's tasting the exhaust fumes to see if the mix is right, and it's always adding a little more fuel or taking some away to get it perfect. These fuel trims tell us exactly what adjustments the chef is making, and that's how we're going to confirm what's really going on. And here is the secret. It's all about an inverse relationship. If your MAF sensor is reading low, but your fuel trims are way up in the positive numbers, like plus 10% or more, it means the computer is desperately adding more fuel. Why? Because extra air is sneaking into the engine after the sensor. The sensor never saw it. That is a classic vacuum leak. But on the flip side, if the MAF sensor is reading high and your fuel trims are negative, it means the computer is pulling fuel out of the mix. That's a huge clue that the sensor is probably dirty and is lying to the computer, telling it there's more air than there really is. So with this information, you're not just guessing anymore. You have a real, solid diagnosis. You've gone from asking, what's wrong with my car, to knowing, okay, here's what I need to do next. And that, right there, is an awesome feeling. So here's your game plan based on what you just found. If the readings were just jumpy or slow to respond, the very first thing you should do is try cleaning the sensor with some special MAF sensor spray cleaner. A lot of the time, that's all it needs. Now, if your fuel trim's confirmed you have a vacuum leak, you need to start looking for cracked hoses or loose clamps anywhere on the engine. If you confirmed a dirty sensor, the high reading with negative fuel trims, again, clean it first. If that doesn't fix it, then you know it's time to replace it. And hey, if you got no reading at all, a flat zero, don't just run out and buy a new one. Check the electrical plug and the wires first. It could just be a bad connection.
So you see, with a $30 tool and a little bit of know-how, you just turned a scary, mysterious warning light into a clear, step-by-step plan. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? That little port under your dash is a gateway to so much information. It holds the answers to this problem and probably a bunch of others. So the real question is, what other professional secrets are just sitting there, hiding in your car's data, waiting for you to find them?